start by sharing my screen with you, and we're going to continue to talk this week about hands played in suit contracts and whether you should draw all or some of the trumps, situations where that's the best plan, or whether you should plan to ruff, sometimes in one hand or sometimes in both hands. And I'm covering this topic because, again, last week there was at least one hand where a number of players did not find the best line. And really, just to summarize it, I would say that if you can make the same number of tricks, then you should draw trumps first. Otherwise, if you think you can sometimes make more tricks by ruffing, it's sometimes a good idea to ruff in the hand with the shorter trumps. But generally, only ruff in the hand with the long trump suit if you have a good reason to. So that's a sort of summary of that covers a lot of play in trump suit. And I'm going to post this video also on YouTube because I've had a few people looking at my videos on there. And just to let you know, if you're interested in joining in these gentle duplicate lessons and play sessions, there's my contact details there. Just send me an email and let me know if you're interested in joining. But the hand we're going to look at this week was a hand we played last Thursday, exactly a week ago, and it was board 5. And this was the recommended bidding on it. Let me just scroll up there. This was the recommended bidding on it. 1 spade by North, 2 diamonds by South, and then 2 hearts by North. That was pretty much standard on every the first 3 bids. And then I think once your partner North has bid spades followed by hearts, they really should be promising at least a 5-card spade suit, and you should really support them. And with 11 points there and a doubleton, you should really bid 3 spades there, and then you'll probably end up in 4 spades. A number of you didn't bid it quite that way. A number of you ended up in 3 no trump, and that is reasonable too. I mean, South does have a very good club stopper, so 3 no trump is a reasonable contract, although actually 4 spades is the best contract to be in if you can make the most of it. So you can see, according to the computer, North-South can make 11 tricks in spades. They can make 5 spades or 3 no trump, although actually it's possible to make 12 tricks in general on this one. If we look at the result on this, you can see that just over half the people played it in 4 spades. One went down. The others all exactly made it. The others just made 10 tricks, which was not a great score. It only scored 8 out of 10. And that was because others who played it in 3 no trump made 10 tricks as well. So 3 no trump here was the best score. 630 ended up being the best score. 3 no trump making is a poor score on this one. You can see down there. It's the worst score, only making 2 out of possible 18 points. So that is how you should end up. You really, the best contract is 4 spades here. And I wanted to look at how it was played in 4 spades, because as you can see, no one made more than 10 tricks on that one. And I want to try and analyze that and see how you should be playing it. So let's have a look at a few times that it was played. And as usual, I've removed the players' names because I don't want to embarrass anyone. So let's have a look at this being played in 4 spades. Let's suppose East leads a club. Okay. By the way, I don't quite agree with this bidding. 1 spade, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, 2 spades is showing more like 9 or 10 points there. And really, you should invite game more enthusiastically by bidding 3 spades. But anyway, everyone ended up in game of one kind or another. And let's suppose as what happened on this one was that the opponents led a club. And let's look at this from declarer's point of view. And what I'd like you to do is look at this from declarer's point of view and tell me how many potential losers you have. Look at it from the point of view of the north hand, but taking into account all the strength in dummy. How many possible losers do you have?
One.
One?
Two.
Two? Okay.
Two. One.
One. All right. Well, let's look at the four. Let's look at the four suits one at a time. We obviously have a spade loser, the ace of spades. Hopefully, we're not going to lose any more than that. In the north hand, we actually have two possible losers because although we've got the ace and the king, we've got the 5 and the 3, and those could lose 2 tricks. We don't, however, have any diamond losers because we've got the ace, and we don't have any club losers. So apart from the ace of spades, the only suit where we might lose tricks are these 2 hearts. Okay? Now, those of you who've said you think you only have one loser, what you're doing is thinking ahead and realizing that you can ruff. If you can ruff 2 hearts in dummy, then you could make 12 tricks. Okay. However, nearly all the declarers who played this in 4 spades did not do any ruffing. This is how it generally was played. They got in and they started drawing trumps. So they drew 1 round. They played another round. They get a slightly bad trump break. The trumps are actually divided 4-1. East won and played a club here, but declarer got back in and drew those last 2 trump. Okay, and then they took their club and they took a diamond and they took 2 hearts, the ace and king of hearts. And if I just bring up the 4 hands at this point, they then lost 2 heart tricks. So they played a heart, they were able to take 2 hearts, and declarer took the last one. So most declarers who played this in 4 spades played it roughly this way. And they lost 3 tricks because they didn't ruff anything. They didn't ruff any hearts or ruff anything else. And that way, unless West discards some hearts, you're going to lose 2 heart tricks. Any comments or questions on that? I want to look at other ways that this hand was played, and this is another way it was played. Sorry, it's a little bit slow bringing up these links sometimes. Let me do that in advance. Okay, this was another time it was played. Here the bidding went 1 spade, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, 2 no trump again with a good club stopper, but then they went on to 3 spades and 4 spades. And let's see what happened here. Well, here they led a club again, and here declarer started playing diamonds. And what they're doing here is they've created a void in their hand, and well, they didn't make much use of it. They're starting to draw trumps. Let's see what happens here. Now they're playing another diamond, and although you can play diamonds, you are ruffing in the hand with the long trumps, and it doesn't really help you here. Okay, what it does, if you look at the north hand and you look at the east hand, you can see that as you keep ruffing diamonds, you are shortening your spade holding. And let's see what happened here. They made a mistake there, playing the jack and 10 of spades on the same trick, so that was one mistake. And then they started playing the hearts, but they've got nothing too rough with here. They've drawn the trumps, so all they can do is take their club. They can, when they take their club, East gets in with the spade, and will be able to take 2 hearts. And actually, declarer went down on this one in 4 spades. And it was really, I don't know, it was sort of, no real plan there, I would say. Sort of ruffing diamonds and not ruffing spades, and not ruffing hearts. So it actually went down in what should have made at least 10 tricks and more. Um, let's have a look at it played another time. Here I agree with this bidding: one spade, two diamonds, two hearts, three spades, four spades. And let's see what happens on this one. They led a club, and Declarer starts off with the ace of diamonds and ruffing a diamond. They then play the ace and the king of hearts, and they ruff a heart. So I hope you can see that what they're planning to do here is cross ruff the diamonds and the hearts. But let's just see what happens. They're able to ruff a heart. They then play another diamond, which they ruff, and at this point they have lost control of trumps. That is to say, North has fewer trumps than East because Declarer has ruffed two diamonds. They now only have three trumps left, and they cannot draw trumps anymore. Okay, so what happened after that? They played another heart, which was ruffed. They played another diamond, ruffed again. Now they've got two fewer trumps than East, and what's going to happen is that they're going to lose two trumps this way. So when a club is played now, East is able to ruff. He plays a spade, and when a club is played, he's going to ruff again. And again, Declarer only made 10 tricks on this one. And they only made 10 tricks because although they did ruff some hearts, they also ruffed diamonds, and that led to them losing control of the trump suit. How should this one have been played? Let's have a look at this played to give yourself the best chance of making this. If they lead a club, so our plan on this hand, going back to what we said at the start, is to try to ruff two hearts. And apart from that, we're going to just try and draw trumps, but we're not going to draw trumps until we've ruffed those two hearts. So how are we going to do this? Let's see. We win the first trick, and let's suppose we play the ace and the king of hearts. And now we're going to lead another heart, and it's worth thinking about what you're going to ruff with here, because we want to ruff two hearts altogether, don't we? So I think we want to ruff the first one with a 7 and the second one with the 10. And that one, the 10, cannot be, if we ruff with a 10, it can't be over-ruffed except with the ace. So that's our plan on this hand. We're going to ruff the first one with a 7. And now the key thing to do is to get back to the north hand. How can you get back to the north hand?
Club.
A club, yeah. A club is the best way here, not a diamond. So not a diamond ruff, in other words. So just get back with the queen of clubs, play a heart, and you're prepared when you play this heart to ruff with a 10. But what happens is on this particular layout, East discards, so you now know that the last heart is in the west hand, so you can ruff with the 10 or the 4. Doesn't matter. Now you've done that last ruff. Now you're going to draw trumps. And by the way, when you play the 10, it's a good idea to overtake it so that you're in the right hand to continue drawing trumps. And as I said before, there's a slightly unpleasant trump break, but it's not enough to defeat you because you carry on drawing trumps. East will get in at some point with their ace, and let's suppose they play a diamond. Well, of course, you have to win that one with your ace. And now you want to get back to your hand to finish drawing trump. And there is only one way to get back to your hand, and you just have to try the playing a diamond, ruffing a diamond. And you're only doing that because you must get back to your hand to draw that last trump. You're fortunate here; you're able to get back there, and you can draw the last trump and take your last club. So played the best way, correctly, I would say, you should be able to make 12 tricks there. You just lose one trump trick. But unfortunately, no one made 12 or even 11 tricks when this hand was played. Any comments on that? You may think on this hand that you're a little bit unlucky because you've got such a bad trump break. The trump's divided 1 and 4. But if we look at this hand if I modify this hand here to, let me just bring these up so they're ready to go. If I modify this hand so that I even out the trumps, so here I've just changed this hand slightly so that East has got just 3 spades. If you try to ruff diamonds, you'll do a little better here, but you still won't make 12 tricks. This is how it might have been played if the trumps had been more favourably divided. So opponents need a club, and this is how it was played that one time where Declarer was trying to cross ruff the diamonds, okay, and then the hearts, and that sort of working quite well. But then when they play the diamond here and they get back to their hand, they've now shortened their trumps so that they now have the same number of trumps as East. No trumps have been drawn yet, so they're able to ruff that one. But now when they play a diamond back, they again have lost control of the trump suit. That is to say, they have 2 trumps while East has 3. So what is evident on this hand is that North cannot now draw trumps and therefore will not make 2 club tricks. It will not make 2 more clubs because East has only got 1 left. So you can try and take 1 club trick, but the last club will be ruffed. You'll lose that one, and you'll also obviously lose the ace. So with a better trump break, you'd make 11 tricks on that one, but it's still not as good as you should have made by ruffing 2 hearts and not ruffing diamonds. So those were the 2 mistakes we've seen. Not ruffing at all, just drawing trumps and ending up with your losers, and then cross ruffing when you don't really need to, and it doesn't really help you. Now, it's not always the case that you should ruff only in one hand. There are hands where it makes sense to ruff in both hands, and we'll have a look at one here. Here's a one where South opens a spade, West overcalls 2 clubs, and North, I think, has got a difficult bit there. North, you might be thinking of passing that, because first of all, you've only got 3 spades, and you've only got 5 points, although you do have a doubleton. So it's a close call that. Let's suppose you just decide to bid 2 spades, East bids 3 clubs, and South bids 3 spades, and suppose that ends the auction. Okay, so let's have a look at this from the point of view of South. The opponents lead the king of clubs, and see if you can tell me how many losers you have in the South hand and what your plan is going to be. Well, it's similar to last time because I've got a spade loser. In hearts, if I've got 2 heart losers, but if I could ruff both of those, I might not lose any hearts. What about diamonds? I've got 2 diamond losers and I've got a club loser. So I'm going to count that as 1 club, 2 diamonds, and a spade. So if I can hold my losers to those 4 tricks, I could maybe make my contract. Does anyone have any other ideas on this hand? Any other ways to play this hand? I think that's going to be my best bet, to try to ruff 2 hearts. So if I ask you, are you going to draw trumps? The answer is no, because I want to ruff those 2 hearts. So there's a slight possibility of maybe setting up the diamonds, but it's quite remote that you'll be able to establish the diamonds and then get back over there. So I think ruffing the hearts is my best option. So let's suppose they take their king, they play another club, and we ruff that. And because we're not going to draw trumps, we want to ruff 2 hearts, we're going to start with the ace and the king of hearts. And now again, we're going to play another heart. And again, we're going to, because we want to ruff twice, so eight hearts have gone so far, 9, 10. So with a normal break, we'll be able to ruff the first.
And there's riots outside the ground.
You're kidding.
No.
Okay, Ros, can I ask you to keep quiet, please? Thank you. So, so after another heart, what we're going to do is lead a heart, and we're going to ruff the first one low and the second one with a jack. That's our plan on this hand. So let's see if we can do that. We ruff 4, and if that succeeds, we're now in good shape. We now want to make the most of this hand by ruffing the 5 of hearts with the jack. But there's a problem here. How can we get back to our hand? Any suggestions, anyone? Can we get back to our hand?
We have to draw 1 trump.
Yeah.
Trump?
Well, there's a problem with that, isn't there? Because we don't have the ace of spades, if I, for example, led a low spade, hoping to get back to my hand with a trump here, there's a danger that whoever has the ace of spades might realise what I'm up to, ruffing hearts, and could win it with their ace and draw my last trump from dummy. So here, the only way to get...
Not a club.
Yeah, the only way to get back to your hand is to ruff a club.
Yeah.
And although you're not ruffing in the long hand here to gain any extra tricks, you're just doing it to get back to your hand. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to get back to my hand, and then I'm going to ruff that last part. And as I planned all along, I'm going to ruff that one high with the jack. Okay, they can over ruff that one, but whatever they play here, I'm going to make my ace of diamonds. So what I'm going to do here is I'll make my ace of diamonds. I'm probably going to lose 2 diamonds here, but I'm not going to lose any more trumps because all my trumps are high. The king, queen, 10 are all high, and I'm always going to make 3 tricks plus the ace of diamonds at least. In fact, you may as well, rather than play your trumps here, because you're always going to make 3 tricks, you may as well just play a diamond, and it actually gives West a chance to go wrong. If I click here on the GIB link, you'll actually see that if West, having got in with the king of diamonds, if they make the mistake of playing a club, which would be a mistake, I can actually ruff that in the north hand, and I'll still make my 3 spades there. So if they don't do that, if they return a trump, then I'm just going to just make my contract. I'll win that one, I'll play off my trumps, and I expect to lose a diamond at the end. But I'll make my 9 tricks there. So what was interesting on that one was that the main focus of the hand was to ruff 2 hearts and dummy, but I did have to play a club at some point to get back to my hand, just so I could continue with the ruffing. It didn't give me extra tricks, but I needed that entry. Any comments or questions on that? And one last one then. Let's have a look at one where it's gone 1 spade, 2 clubs. Again, North's got a difficult choice of what to bid there, but only 3 trumps. 2 spades is probably the best choice, and maybe that will end the auction. Maybe you'll end up in 2 spades on this one. And again, let's have a look at this. The opponents lead a club, let's say, and if we have a look at this from South's point of view, it's very similar to the last one in that we've got 2 hearts here that we want to ruff, so we're not going to draw trumps. We're going to try to ruff the 2 hearts, 1 low and 1 with the jack. And if we can do that, we hope we'll only lose, well, 2 clubs and a spade. We might even make 10 tricks on this one. So let's see how it goes. They take 2 rounds of clubs. Let's suppose they play a third round. Oh, and that's interesting. East ruffs with the 8. So we're going to over-ruff here. And we over-ruff with the 9. Now, it's worth studying the trumps here because because they've ruffed with the 8 and we ruff with the 9, it actually has made our 7 high. The 7 of spades is now a high trump, equal to all the others, except for the ace. There's nothing higher than the trumps I've got. So I've just got high trumps now in both hands, with the exception of the ace. And I'm going to go about my plan of ruffing hearts, just like before. I'm going to ruff a heart, play another heart, which I'm going to ruff low. And again, I want to get back to my hand here in order to ruff that last heart. And there are different ways you might plan to do that. One way to do it would be to try to ruff a club, or it's reasonably safe to play the 2 diamonds. In other words, play the ace and the king, and then play another diamond, because whatever you ruff with here is going to be high. Even the 7, because the 8 and the 9 have gone, can be equally high, and they can only be over-ruffed by the ace here. So you're effectively now cross-ruffing the hand at the end. You've just got high trumps at the end. They can over-ruff. They might play a spade, but you can still win that, and you can now ruff that last heart with your jack of spades. And with 2 high trump, you can actually make 10 trips on this one. Although I don't expect anyone to get to game there. So this was an example of sort of where you do end up cross-ruffing the hand, and you're not worried about drawing trumps because you end up with high trumps in each hand, and you're able to cross-ruff for 10 trips. So I find that a lot of people, when they're playing, they love cross-ruffing. They see a singleton or shortage and they love cross-ruffing, and it can be a good strategy, but it's not always. And generally speaking, you gain tricks only by ruffing in the short hand and not by ruffing in the long hand. And some people then don't ruff at all, and that's equally bad. Right? So I think the key to finding the right line is really to making a plan, identifying your losers, identifying how many times you're going to need to ruff, and whether you're going to be able to just ruff in one hand or maybe ruff in both hands. And there, different hands call for different strategies. So there's no hard and fast rule about the right line. Do unmute yourselves if you have any questions.
No, thank you.
Okay, I feel I'm sort of going over similar ground each week, but I can see from the way the hands are played that people are not finding the right line. So I did want to spend another session talking about this and seeing if you can help you with your planning in suit contracts. Anyway, that's it for today. So I've opened up the real bridge game, and I'll see you all online. Is there anyone here online who would like to play but doesn't have a partner at the moment?
No, we'll get you.
Okay. If you change your mind, you can join the real bridge game, and otherwise I'll see you all online about 7:30. Thank you all very much.
Study.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hi, Nene Maushi.